Yes, I just fed you.
Alright. So, hello Internet. It is 2:02 p.m. on Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. The world hasn't ended yet, but I'd be lying if I said I felt optimistic. Welcome to Holding Court. I'm Mark Amsray, DJ Amstrack, your host. That's Daniel, he's working. And so will not be an active participant, as he often is on other streams. Today, I will be continuing Shadowrun Dragonfall. When last we left on Monday, the game froze mid-combat as we were trying to escape the offices of the Landenberg Ring. Chat monitor set up. so I can see what's going on. Now, where does it drop me in at? Okay. It starts me at the beginning of the escape sequence. That's about where I expected. Nice. Oops. You hear a loud thunking sound, a heavy-duty maglock clicking shut. The little light above the exit door goes from green to red. Blitz, I'm detecting a pattern here. Yeah, Chief. I'm getting right on it. What a goddamn train wreck. There's another long pause. The tension mounts, then your comlink crackles to life again. Okay, Chief, I figured out how to get you out of there. You're gonna have to release a couple of locks. You can find the controls in the rooms to the north and south of your current position, but in order to get to those locks, I'm gonna have to hold the doors open for you. Keep talking. Now, on my end, holding even one of those doors open is going to be a full-time job. There's no way that I can hold both at once. So, once I've opened a door, you'll have to run in and release the lock, then get back out again. I won't be able to do much else until you do. You hold the door open, we run in, release the lock, and get out again. Do that twice, once for each door. That's right. Well, once we've released both locks, you need to get out of there as quickly as possible. I'll lock the place down behind you. Oh, and, Chief, you're about to have some more company in there. Wonderful. Up first, and then do it. Looks like the best cover from both of those. Yes. Oh, okay. Dang it. Alright, Chief. I've reached the door controls. Ready to force it open on your mark. Once it's open, you've got to get in there and release the northern lock from the control panel. Do it. Shoot the king from that side first. Okay then, that conjurer just summoned a dude that immediately broke free and killed him. Seriously?
At least it works though.
Nice. Don't like where they are. I've accessed the door controls. Say when and I'll force it for you. Once it's open, you've got to get in there and release the southern lock from the control panel. We're ready. Force it. That's done it, Chief. Bail on out of there. Once you've both made it to into the next room, I'll lock the door behind you. That should buy you a few seconds at least. We're on it. Those guys got locked in there. There's a loud burst of static from your comlink. That takes care of that. All locked up tight, and you should be clear to make your exit. Thank God for that. I hate to admit it, Blitz, but you did good back there. Hey, thanks, Hassenkamp. Yeah, you too. Now, you two ready to get out of there? Do you even have to ask? Alright, let's see what we can do about that. There's a long pause, then Blitz's voice crackles out of your PDA speakers. Head for the front door this time, though. Not the alley. What? Just go with me on this, Chief. The door that you came in through is no good. You want to go out the front. There's a terminal that you need to access, one more button to press. Do that, and we're home free. Alright, Blitz, the front door it is. Good. And, make sure that Hassenkamp comes with you. Gotta make sure that box makes it back to Grinder. We're dealing with a winner here. A cursory inspection shows you that this computer has primarily been used to access a host of illicit Matrix sites. While there is a full suite of office productivity software installed on the machine, it hasn't been opened in months. Wow, the Landenberg ring really needs to start keeping a closer eye on its employees. I'm not surprised. It's only a matter of time before Plots runs this place into the ground. This must be the terminal that Blitz wanted you to use. Its screen is badly scratched, and the casing is cracked, but the design tells you that it was originally part of the bank's security system. Come on, let's get this show on the road. We're almost out of this godforsaken place. Well, you're half right. VL is almost out. You, on the other hand, won't ever leave this building, you son of a bitch. Blitz, what the hell? Shut up and listen, Chief. Hassenkamp is planning on screwing you. I've had a bot digging up intel on the man ever since you stepped into that building together, and let me tell you, he is not trustworthy. Hassenkamp sneers. Says the man who ratted out his own gang. To hell with this, I'm leaving. I wouldn't if I were you. VL there can kill you with the press of a button. I can? Well, more accurately, he can give me control of those auto turrets with the press of a button, and then I can kill you. Hassenkamp stops, looks you in the eye. But he wouldn't do that, would he? Would he? That all depends on what Blitz has to tell me. Get this, Chief. That son of a bitch isn't really an accountant. He's an assassin, and Grinder's second-in-command to boot. Making people disappear is his job, VL. No way Grinder would have sent him if he intended to let you walk out of there alive. That true, Hassenkamp? The bit about my place in Mr. Grinder's organization? Sure. But the part about killing you? No. I intend to walk out that door, give the box to Mr. Grinder, and go home to my family, like I said. Why the lie? Why tell me you're an accountant? It wasn't a lie. I am an accountant, and I'm here in that capacity at Mr. Grinder's request. People can be more than one thing, you know. Don't let him sweet-talk you, Chief. Push the button and let me blow him away. VL, listen to me. Your pal is a thief, and a killer, and a rat. You push that button, and I'll die, sure. But Mr. Grinder is waiting for me, and he's waiting for this box. And you don't want the kind of trouble that's going to come your way if I don't get it to him. By all rights, that box should be ours, Chief. This was our run. Grinder can't have the money and the box. That's just unfair. See what I mean? That's what this is all about. He wants the box. He doesn't even know what it is, but he's willing to kill an old man for it. How is that not sending up red flags for you? I'm telling you, I work for a loan shark, and I wouldn't feel safe around this guy. I think there's something else going on here. I think that we've all been set up. Hassenkamp blinks. Explain.
Those numbers that didn't match. I'm surprised Hassenkamp forgot about it.
Yeah. I think that your boss is in bed with the Landenberg ring. I think that he's the silent partner that we read about. An astonished chuckle erupts from the old man. Mr. Grinder? Working with plots? Are you high? Yes, but that's beside the point.
Good job, Grinder.
I mean, I did pop a pill in combat back there.
Yeah, the silent partner, that ledger that doesn't match.
Mm-hmm.
I think Grinder is trying to get rid of Hassenkamp with this run.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the box might be like a bomb or poison or something.
Could be. Or it could just be nothing.
It's a box of nitrogen gas.
I mean, it would probably feel empty if it were empty, but I mean nothing in a value sense. No, I'm dead serious. I've known Mr. Grinder for 12 years, and I'm telling you, he would never work with that son of a bitch. Besides, if that were true, why would he have sent me in here to help you rob the place? Are you familiar with the phrase, killing two birds with one stone? Don't get cute with me, VL. Say what you mean. He isn't being cute, jackass. He's accurately describing the situation. Obviously, Meat Grinder wants you out of the way. Throwing around words like obviously doesn't make them true. Why the hell would Mr. Grinder want to get rid of me? I run his business, for God's sake. I don't know, man, but one thing I can tell you, somebody gave Plots that info on us, and VL's name was on that list. Now tell me, other than you, me, and Grinder, who even knew that he'd be coming here tonight? And why wasn't Grinder's name on Plots' kill list? Hassenkamp falls silent, but his mouth curls into a frown. We also found those financial projections, remember? The ones that showed a massive increase in Grinder's future profits? His voice comes out flat, disbelieving. Those were fake. Or they were real and your boss is cutting you out of whatever he has planned. No. No way. Mr. Grinder wouldn't do a thing like that. Not to me. I think that Grinder has gotten tired of competing against the Landenberg ring, and I think that he and Plotz are planning a merger. Their business models work well together. The ring tricks idiots into taking out predatory loans, and Grinder shows up to collect. You get the irony of what you just said, right? Sure, I get it. And you get that your boss is cutting you out of his operation, right? I'm sure that the Landenberg ring has plenty of accountants. Grinder wouldn't need you anymore. There is a long pause. Hassenkamp stares at you, processing what you've just told him. He opens his mouth to speak, then closes it again. From what you've told us about Plotz, he wouldn't want you in the picture either. There's bad blood between you two, right? Hassenkamp's face has gone ashen. He nods dumbly. Yeah. Yeah, there is. It all seems pretty clear-cut to me. Well, he glances down at the plastic box cradled in his arms. Son of a bitch. There is a long pause. Finally, Blitz breaks the silence. So, I guess that means we're all on the same team now, right? He nods again. Yeah, that's right. As a show of good faith, I'll tell you. Your pal was right. Grinder sent me here to see that the transaction went through smoothly, yes, but he also wanted me to kill you. Told you? You were on a job the same as we are. I can understand that. Thanks, I was hoping you would. For what it's worth, you have nothing to fear from me now. I didn't want to kill you in the first place, and now that I've, tendered my resignation, there are only 2 people who need to worry about me shooting them. Just to be clear, I'm not one of those 2 people, am I? No, Blitz, you're not. When we get out of here, I have a score to settle with Plotz and Grinder, and believe me, I will settle it. Speaking of which, can we talk about how we're going to get out of here? Yeah, of course, Chief. If you'll do me the favor of pushing that button, I'll activate the security doors. That's all you're gonna do, right? I'm trusting you here. Of course, man. You've got nothing to worry about from me anymore. It's cool, Hassenkamp. You can trust him. Absolutely. Because I'm trustworthy. Now I'll just activate those security doors, and... His voice cuts off. There is a long pause, punctuated by crackles of static from your comlink. Blitz? His panicked voice punches through your comlink speakers. There's somebody in here with me, Chief. Another Decker, and you've got incoming at your His voice cuts to static. Get ready, Hassenkamp. We're about to have company. The intruder's avatar shimmers in the cool ambient glow of the bank's matrix hub. He sneers at Blitz, and his hands close into fists. Who the hell are you, man? I could ask the same of you. You're in my banking system, you little bastard. What? My name is Plotz. I run the Landenberg ring. That makes this bank and everything in it mine. And that means that you and your friend are trespassing. And that means that neither of you is going to make it out of here alive. I'm shaking in my boots, man. I mean, seriously. How old are you, by the way? 'Cause you look about 40. The banker's face is overtaken by a menacing smile. I'm still spry enough to ruin your day, punk. Your ass is mine.
Let's say, Plotz is a Decker?
Apparently.
I thought he was a corrupt banker.
Oh no, I see what's going on. Oh, this is going to be crazy. And Plots has been ejected. Along with his attack program.
The attack program being ejected just makes me imagine that there's like a corporeal realization of an attack program running loose in a cafe.
Plots is down and all 4 turrets are back under my control. Go to town, Chief. I've got you covered. Good job, man. And another wave of them?
Of course. Control the turrets.
Yeah.
Gotta have stuff to shoot. Designer of this level probably wanted this part to feel good.
Whoops. Well, that certainly could have, oh. gunfire dies down and the smoke clears. You and Hassenkamp find yourselves staring at one another across a room stacked with corpses. Well, that takes care of that. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go take care of Mr. Grinder. He tosses something to you. Reflexively, you snatch it out of the air. The object feels smooth and warm to the touch. It's the plastic box that Hassenkamp pulled out of the safe deposit box. My former employer won't be needing this anymore. Give it to your pal Blitz. I'm sure that he can find a use for it. Hey, alright! What does it do? Beats me. From the connections on the bottom, it looks like it was made to plug into a cyber deck. Beyond that, I'm as in the dark about the thing as you are. All I know is that Grinder wanted it. That should be good enough for the red-haired disaster. Anyway, I've got things to do. I should get to them. If I hurry, I can have Grinder dead in a dumpster and still get home in time to read the grandkids a story. What about Plots? Never did like the man. I'll give him a chance to scurry away, let him get his hopes up for a day or two. Then I'm going to chuck his ass in the wood chipper. Good luck, Hassenkamp. Don't need it, but thanks anyway. He turns to leave.
Just his ass?
Just his ass. You did good, VL. You ever get tired of running the shadows? You come see me. I could find a place in my organization for a man like you. I'll keep it in mind. I'm just going to ignore the elemental I still have left running about.
Yeah, it'll be a present.
Still trying to catch up.
Just leave it to go rogue and make a big mess.
Oh, it already has gone rogue.
Oh, funny.
It has been for most of the battle.
Cool. Just leave it to make a big mess then.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of elemental is it?
Earthquake. Earthquake is what it's called. It's a higher level earth elemental.
Well, that sounds bad for the building structural members. I was kind of afraid you were going to say fire.
No.
Like, whew, talk about mess.
The ride back to the Kreutz Bazaar is a lonely one. This train car smells a little better than the one you rode in on. It isn't great, but at least it doesn't leave you gagging. Still, things are looking up. You've helped Blitz pull himself out of hot water, and with any luck at all, you'll never have to set foot in Drogenkippa again. After a long, boring trip, the car rattles to a stop. The doors slide open. You're home. And I need more to drink. I shall return momentarily.
And Blitz got some sort of fancy upgrade module for his deck.
He did.
Because this is how those side character background stories go. Your reward is they get an upgrade. An upgrade that tends to prove very tasty for a few missions. Ooh, upgrade.
Blitz got his deck mod. Iger got that sweet-ass rifle.
That sounds like it takes an acrobatics check. Or does it shoot donkeys? Does it shoot donkeys?
No, it does not shoot donkeys.
Okay, that would be weird.
Yes, yes it would.
Ah, get that two out of here. It's not that.
So, Blitz, what is this thing? Oh, hey, Chief, you're back! And you got the box, right? He takes an eager step towards you, his hand extended. Give it here, if you please. Here's your mystery box, Blitz. Enjoy. Alright, thanks, Chief! Blitz turns the box over and over in his hands, a huge grin on his face. Let's plug this puppy in and see what it does. With a series of deft motions, Blitz pops the plastic cover on an unused expansion slot in his cyber deck and slides the mystery box home. A recessed LED light in the box goes from red to green. He boots up the deck, staring at the code that scrolls across its integrated display. Huh. Well, this is weird. The data hard-coded onto this thing is jam-packed with comlink software. It looks like it has protocols for all of the major brands, sysadmin level tools, too. And there's something else. What do you see, Blitz? Slowly, a smile spreads across his face. This thing is like a master key for communication systems. With this box plugged into my deck, I could hack the comlink of just about anyone in the same room as me. How's that useful? Use your imagination, Chief. Just about every security goon in Berlin is wired to a comm system of some kind or another. If I can hijack those comms, then I can cause all sorts of confusion in the ranks on our runs. This is one hell of a toy. I can see why Grindr wanted it. No BLTs yet. Well, I can't wait to see what you can do with it. Yeah, Chief. Me neither. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or can I start playing around with this thing? The vault door, the one that you forgot to account for. Was that really an accident? His mouth drops open. Of course it was, Chief! I'm shocked that you'd even ask. What'd you think, that I'd purposely strand you in a bank vault? I mean, what kind of asshole would I have to be to do that? If that wasn't a part of your plan, then it was an oversight of epic proportions. You can see how that isn't much better, right? Oh, come on, Chief, like you've never made a mistake. Look, you can lambast me all you like. Aside from that one little detail, the plan was perfect. I'm proud of my performance in there. Alright, Blitz, I'm satisfied. Can we talk about something else? Sure, Chief, what do you want to talk about? How's the Amelie thing going? Any luck with the search? Yeah, actually, I've made some headway. For the first time in a year, I've got a solid lead. I thought I'd looked everywhere. Between my contacts and myself, we scoured all of M's old haunts, both in Meat Space and the Matrix. But what I never thought to do was dig for clues in my own cyber deck. It seems so obvious now, but back then I couldn't see it. I mean, she was running from me, right? So why would she leave any breadcrumbs for me to find? Anyway, I did some housekeeping and discovered something. On the morning that Emily disappeared, some information vanished from my cyber deck as well. She did a good job of covering her tracks, but I can see the signs. She grabbed the file and ran. End of story. What kind of data are we talking about? No idea, Chief. I grabbed it on a lark when me and Emily were goofing around in the Matrix. The file was encrypted all to hell, and I never could get it open. I only took the damn thing because she told me not to. She said that security would be too tight, that I'd get myself killed, but I waltzed on in there and took it all the same. You should have seen me, Chief. It was a thing of beauty. I don't think I've ever been as much on my A-game as I was that day. Blitz, where did you take this data from? A corporate database. You know, no big deal. Tell me which corporation, Blitz. Oh, you know, no one important. Blitz continues smiling at you for a few seconds, then looks away. I stole the thing from Az Technology. A tinge of red crawls into Blitz's cheeks. He shuffles his feet. In hindsight, it might not have been the best of ideas. You're insane, Blitz. That may be true, but I'm also devastatingly charming and intelligent. That has to count for something. Anyway, time passed. Eventually we made up and left the whole thing off. Or at least I thought we did. Truth be told, I forgot all about it until I realized that the data had gone missing. Alright, so the love of your life took your encrypted file and bailed on you. What are you going to do about it? I don't know, Chief. This whole incident has me rethinking a lot of things. What if she took the file to protect the Azzies? What if she's with them? I've got to admit, this has me worried. I'm even more torn up now than I was before. He meets your gaze, and you can see the concern gnawing at him. I don't know what to do, but I'm open to suggestions. You've got a direction to look in now. Get back in the Matrix and find her. Who am I kidding? You're right. I won't be able to stop thinking about this until I've found her, so I might as well keep trying. Thanks, Chief. You've been a huge help. Best of luck. Let me know how it turns out. I will, Chief. I will. No new messages. Let's take a look at Shadowland. Claim payment for sold pay data. Sold Shearing Pharma AG chemical research data. Winning bid 430 new yen. Escrow fee 43. Funds sent to VL's account 387. Do I have any more pay data? No. Thread, F-State Protection. The writers have it on good authority that the Winter Night cult is eyeing Schottenest for expansion. We do not have any information as to what purpose they have for Berlin yet, but for the good of the Flux, we should keep a watchful eye on this situation. See attached files for more details. Schachwellen writers. Can't track down much about these guys. What's the big deal? I have a friend out in Cal Free State who swears that he's worked for them before. Says they're the real deal, an honest-to-God global conspiracy. I thought he was full of dreck. A Norwegian cult with money and influence to rival the big corps? Come on. Yeah, sounds a bit far-fetched. That said, my buddy is rolling in New Yen, and hell if I know where it came from. Or maybe I should say was. As in past tense, so what happened? He went on a shooting rampage a few weeks back, took out his entire family and a couple of neighbors before Lone Star managed to bring him down. He'll be sitting in one of their Supermax facilities for the rest of his life, and the money got seized as evidence. Whoa, that's horrible, man. Yeah, it was. Thing is, I've read his arrest records. At the time that Lone Star tackled him, he was screaming crazy things. Things about the world burning and a moon made of blood. So maybe there's something to all of this after all. Thread, Drogon Kippa banking woes. Looks like there's been a good old-fashioned bank heist in Drogon Kippa. One of those old, defunded banks still had some funds in it, apparently. Whoever was responsible waltzed right in and transferred away a whole load of new yen. That's not all. Palamine had been contracted to do some work for one of the other lending establishments in the area. When he went in to meet with his contact, all that he found was a couple of shell casings and a troll-sized pool of blood. Huh. And I'd always assumed that banking was a boring job. Sounds pretty action-packed to me. You've got a break-in, a big score, what looks like a revenge killing. All of that plus a steady paycheck. What more could you want? If you need me, I'll be putting in an application at my nearest savings and loan. Thread. Energy sources? Energy resources? They didn't come from Earth. I've got solar panels like everybody, but does anyone have experience with these monoturbine services? I'm off the grid, so there are some times when I need to do some late-night decking or maintenance on my telescoping limbs. Is that the thing where a mage comes by and drops some juice into a generator? My buddy was telling me about them last week. The turbine spins the mana around, and the charge lasts for weeks, he said. They're a scam, chummer. That mage is going to be out of there with your money before you realize how much power you've actually got. You're better off peddling a bike battery. Well, that would be interesting if it could work. Before I head out to help Glory on her mission, her personal quest, I should stock some more medical supplies. Because as many as I find around, I do use quite a bit, and there does appear to be, well, his stocks aren't limitless, but they do appear to refresh between missions. So, more trauma kits, more advanced med kits. Done. Oh yeah. That's what I forgot to give myself. Bless you. Yeah, I only have 2 karma right now. The team missions don't seem to reward all that much karma. And ooh, I need to go record my life, so excuse me for a minute. I will leave you with an ad to ignore.
Ignore it!
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. There we go. The drive from the Kreutz Bazaar to the Schönbuch forest was a long one. For over 6 hours, you and Glory rode in relative silence, with only the sounds of the road for company. Now you find yourself crouching in the woods, watching, waiting. Off in the distance, the rustic exterior of Feuerstelle looks curiously warm and inviting, but you know what's waiting inside. The anticipation churns at your guts like a living thing. Eventually, a van pulls out of the compound's driveway and rolls out along a service road before disappearing from view. Glory gives you a nod and begins to scramble forward. Harrow has left the building. It's time for you to make your way inside. Ooh. Yeah, have a grenade launcher, Glory. The weathered edifice of Feuerstelle looms above you, dark and sinister in the chill night air. Despite the horrifying stories that Glory told you about this place, something about it feels strangely comforting. In the back of your mind, insidious voices whisper that you could stay here forever. Do you feel it? The lure of this place? Glory gestures with a limb of chrome and steel. When I was a kid, when I was whole, the pull was irresistible. Yes, I can feel it. It's almost pleasant. It's meant to be. That's how it gets to you. It worms its way inside of you, changes you, and you don't even realize what's happening until it's too late. She looks at you and her eyes are dark. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet but steady. You're going to see some terrible things here, Viel. Feuerstelle exists to prey on the young, and we're going to have to come face to face with that. Are you sure that you're prepared for this? When you say the young, how young do you mean? I need to know what we're walking into. Teenagers, mostly. 16 through 18, though there is the rare exception. That's young enough to make me feel uneasy. She nods. Me too, but we're going to put an end to it one way or another. So I'll ask you again. Are you ready for this? I need an honest answer. I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. She studies your face for a moment longer, then looks away. Good. You want to compare notes, make sure that we're both on the same page? She nods. We take Harrow out of commission. You were right when you said that we couldn't afford to let him live. Even if we completely destroyed this place, it'd all be for nothing if he got away. He'd just start another cult somewhere else. We kill Harrow, yeah. But I think that we should try to save the cultists here, too.
Planning on that would be a mistake. This is going to be difficult enough as it is. If we don't focus our efforts on one thing or the other, we're going to fail at both. If we get an opportunity to rescue some cultists along the way, we'll take it. That goes without saying. But barring that, we should stay focused on killing Harrow.
Do you know how you want to approach this?
Yeah. We're going to take out the shrine that Harrow uses as his power focus. We can't touch him while that thing is standing, but after we bring it down, he'll be vulnerable.
Tell me more about this shrine.
It's a lump of rock about as tall as I am, inscribed with runes and encrusted with bone. The shrine's power comes from an entity that Harrow bound into the stone, something very old and very dangerous, a toxic spirit. In many ways, it is the heart of this place. We can't touch Harrow while the shrine is intact. If we try, he'll siphon enough power from it to slaughter us where we stand. But if we confront the shrine and kill the spirit, the astral backlash from its death will cripple him. All we'll have to do is finish him off. That makes sense. If you have any questions, it'd be best if you asked them now.
So we make our way to the shrine and then, what, take it out with explosives?
Breaking the rock won't work. We'll have to take on the spirit directly, track it to where it lives, and kill it.
She pets the satchel that hangs from her shoulder.
I've brought what we'll need to do that. I can't tell you exactly how this is going to go down, VL. The spirit itself will have a good deal of control over that. But you'd better prepare yourself, because I think that this is going to be one hell of a fight.
What about the other cultists?
We'll save any that we can, but the energy released when the spirit dies will hurt them too. Anyone whose mind it touched will take a hit.
Doesn't that mean the backlash will hit us too?
You've only just arrived. The spirit hasn't had a chance to worm its way into your aura yet. You might black out for a minute or two, but otherwise you should be fine. As for me, well, like I said, this place can't touch me anymore.
Sounds like this is our best shot, then.
It is.
The shrine is this important. Why didn't you mention it earlier?
When I lived here, Harrow barely used the thing. To be honest, I think that he was afraid of it. Back before I ran away, Feuerstella was nothing more than a cult of personality that revolved around Harrow. He didn't need magical help to keep us here. We loved him, and we believed in his message. He created the shrine as an insurance policy.
And you think that something has changed and that he started abusing the shrine's power? She nods.
Yes, and I think that my escape was the cause of that change. I know Harrow. When I ran, I bruised his ego. His charisma and charm had failed him, and my disappearance rubbed his nose in that failure. He wouldn't be willing to chance something like that happening again, not when he had the means to prevent it.
So the cultists here, they're like puppets? The shrine controls them?
Not exactly. It's more insidious than that. Think of the shrine's influence as a drug. It lowers your inhibitions, makes you compliant. If you were to stay here for a couple of days, you'd fall in love with this place, and you wouldn't even know why. All of Harrow's bullshit would start to make sense. You'd be happy. In essence, all of the cultists here are addicted to this place. That makes them a threat, yes, but it also makes them victims.
I think I know everything that I need to. Let's get moving. She nods, and the razors flick out of her fingertips.
I'm with you. Let's do it.
Saving before I accidentally step in any wasps' nests. You can hear a distant murmuring sound coming from inside the room. Voices, 3, maybe 4 people, all talking amongst themselves. You can't make out what they're saying, but one of the voices sounds desperate. You've heard the tone before. It's the sound of a man pleading for his life.
We should keep moving. Whatever's going on in there, we don't want to get involved.
Sounds like somebody's in trouble in there.
I don't doubt it. But we're here to kill Harrow, not the people he's brainwashed. After we've taken down the shrine, the cultists in there will be hurt, disoriented. We can deal with them then.
All right. The doorway shimmers with a faint red light. As you approach the door, you can feel a squirming sensation in the back of your skull. Your limbs begin to tingle, then feel heavy. The closer that you get to the doorway, the more of a struggle it is to continue moving forward. It feels as though the strength is being siphoned from your body. Step back. As you step away from the door, the crawling sensation gradually recedes. A moment later, the strength returns to your limbs. Glory stares into the light, frowning.
The shrine room is through here, but this barrier wasn't here before. Harrow must have warded the doorway after I ran.
How do we get through?
The ward is like a lock. There must be a key. Back when I helped Harrow run this place, he and I were the only ones allowed in the shrine room. So we look for whoever has taken my place. That's where the key will be.
How will we know who that is?
It'll be a girl. Harrow would never take a male as his second. He wouldn't want the competition. And her hair will be fire red. It's a sort of insignia of rank within the cult.
A girl with red hair, got it. Appears to be a standard terminal. Don't have decking. An ostentatiously large tome sits cradled on this pedestal. The paper is robust and fibrous, and the binding has been expertly stitched. A steel plate running along the book's spine anchors it to the pedestal. Glory stares down at it, frowning.
Harrow's manifesto. The handcrafted line of bullshit that he feeds to his initiates. We all ate it up with a smile and came away convinced that he was a genius.
She leafs through the pages with an articulated finger.
Looks like he's expanded it over the last few years. It's at least twice as thick as it was when I lived here.
Maybe there's something in there that we can use.
I wouldn't want to hang around long enough to find out. This is Harrow's personal library. He used to experiment in here. There were dangerous things in here, VL. Sick things. I was never allowed in this room without Harrow. Nobody was. He said that it was for our safety, and I think that he was telling the truth. I feel uneasy being in here. I don't want to stay longer than we have to.
Whatever Harrow's added to his manifesto, it could be important. I'm going to take a look.
All right. I'll watch your back, but try to be quick.
You flip through the early pages of the manifesto, find what looks like a good place to jump in and start to read. When I first set out on the path to free living, I realized that I'd have to rethink all of my earlier assumptions about life. I'd have to question my own values and beliefs, and I'd need the strength to trust in the answers that came to me. The prospect was daunting, but it was also necessary. The road to true freedom is paved with unanswered questions. After all, you can't learn to be free from a book. The answers won't come from a Bible, an instruction manual, or a code of conduct. If you don't learn that, you'll never break your chains. The path to true freedom is one that each of us must walk on his or her own. What makes life worth living? What in life is truly valuable, and what is the dross that can be burned away? To see your enemies driven before you. And hear the lamentation of their women, or whatever. I spent weeks dissecting every aspect of my life to find the answers to these questions. Slowly, agonizingly, I pared down the list until only 4 items remained. These 4 items became the cornerstones of my new philosophy, and the basis for everything that Feuerstella stands for. Love. The first cornerstone and the most important. Without love, life is bland and meaningless. Without love, we might as well be machines. Love what you do, love the people around you, but above all, love yourself. Self-determination, the second cornerstone. Each of us must be his or her own shepherd. No more gods and no more kings. Your life is your own. Lash out against anyone or anything that tries to treat you like property. An assault on your freedom is an assault on your whole being, and it must be met with an equally ferocious response. Charity, the third cornerstone. A miserly life is an empty life. If each of us is his or her own master, then nobody should live as a serf. By helping others along the path to enlightenment, so do we enrich our own lives. Passion, the final cornerstone. Complacency is poison. Be wary of it. Ambition is the key to a fulfilling life. Don't settle for what is. If you do, you abandon what could be. You hear a rustling sound behind you. Glory. Turning, you can see a troubled look on her face.
That ominous feeling is getting stronger, VL. It feels like we're being watched.
Harrow's rules of living. Be free. Be free in all things, and experience that freedom with your whole being, body, mind, and spirit. Discard the oppressive traditions of modesty and shame that you've been indoctrinated since birth. The free thinker has no use for them. Your body is a source of pride, of pleasure, and of succor, for yourself and for others. Enjoy it and share that joy freely with those who desire it. Be selfish. Don't enslave yourself to others at the expense of your own happiness. Take what you want and do so unashamedly. Our desires are an important part of what makes us human. Society has trained us to hide that part of ourselves from the world, but the free living person doesn't cower in the shadows. Own your desires and rejoice in them. Selflessness is ultimately dishonest, and dishonesty has no place in a free society. Show reverence. The free-living person understands that the only true governance in this world is the law of nature, and that in nature there is a hierarchy. The rabbit doesn't question the wolf. The mouse does not wonder why it must run from the cat. They do because they must. Their survival depends on it. As it is in nature, so it is at Feuerstella. Know your place in the food chain and understand the mechanisms by which you can better yourself. He's already starting to contradict himself here. You leaf forward and find that there are at least 20 more pages worth of rules. Each is worded vaguely enough to have multiple interpretations.
Of course they are.
Mm-hmm. You hear another rustling sound, Glory moving behind you. She stares down at the rules of living, a look of disgust on her face. If I had etiquette academic, I could say, I'm getting the feeling that this entire thing is written in doublespeak. I doubt if there's a single statement in here that isn't contradicted somewhere else. Yeah. You're an intelligent woman, Glory. I can't believe that you couldn't see through this.
I was a kid, 17 years old, and most of them spent living in one hell or another. I had a lot of demons to escape from, and the people here made me feel safe and welcome. I wanted this to be true. I needed it to be true. So I convinced myself that it was. In retrospect, you're right. The rules of living are derivative, self-contradictory drivel. They offer easy answers in an attractive, easily digestible package. But then, so has the philosophy of every self-proclaimed messiah in history, and they've always managed to attract their share of followers. It's easy to pass judgment from where you're standing, VL. But in my position, you'd have done the same thing. You're right. In your place, I'd have wound up here right alongside you. Sorry, Glory. Glory freezes up, her shoulders hunch and her eyes narrow. VL, that ominous feeling, it's getting closer. There's something in the room with us, I'm sure of it. We need to get out of here, now. I am really curious about what might be in here. And I saved not long ago, so...
I'm wondering if you had, like, limited actions of which to engage in that book, and you were supposed to go straight to the additions.
Yeah, that wasn't an option, unfortunately.
Oh. It's scripted dirt free.
The final pages of the manifesto devolve into semi-cohesive rants about anarchy, social Darwinism, free love, and the horned god. You've seen this kind of thing before. Harrow's philosophy is collapsing under its own weight. Unfortunately, none of his cultists seem to have caught on to that fact. Done. This philosophy of Harrow's really starts to break down. Glory lets out a startled cry, cutting your sentence short. Out of the corner of your eye, you see her wheel to face something behind you. All at once, the room fills with a slaughterhouse smell, a smell like blood and bile and feces, the stench of an abattoir. As you turn, you catch sight of something sliding into the world. It looks like a charred man, with a pair of tortured faces where its shoulders should be. The thing burns like a Roman candle, spitting white-hot sparks in a fiery plume. An oily substance runs down between its dangling legs and spatters onto the floor, and where those drips land, they burn. VL, look out! Yeah, that figures.
Ah. An actual demon. That's
Yeah, it's a fire spirit.
What is surprising is they had to go a surprise round on you. Like, you watched it show up. How can we get to the deck first? Rude.
Very rude. The body of the thing that attacked you begins to dissolve at the moment of death, as you watch its tissues break down into a growing slick of bubbling pitch and rendered fat. Why would I be asking what the hell was that? I'm a conjurer. I should know what that is.
Something from another place.
Glory stares at the remains of the creature, now a dark stain on the library's floorboards.
Like I said outside, the boundaries between the physical world and astral space are weak here. Things can come through.
I think that we've gotten everything from the book that we're going to. She nods.
Let's get the hell out of here. We need to keep moving anyway.
Well, cool. It only hit me once, so the damage was restored after combat. No sweat. Fridge. As you open the refrigerator door, a whiff of ammonia sticks in your nostrils. Watery light glints off of the door's polished interior. The fridge is stacked full of large plastic bins, all tightly sealed and neatly labeled. It's hard to tell through the opaque plastic, but they appear to be full of meat. You pop the lid off a container to take a closer look. The first thing that hits you is the smell. The meat in here is beyond rancid. White mold frosts the sides of the bin, and it's all that you can do to keep from gagging. As you rush to put the lid back on, you recognize a familiar shape in the rotten meat. A mangled human hand. Is that what I think it is? Glory's voice is flat.
Ritual supplies. The adversary prefers them aged. Harrow teaches all of the initiates how to do it. How to harvest the meat, how to store it, how to label it. Nobody likes doing it at first, but you learn. By the end, it doesn't even bother you anymore.
I get the picture.
I warned you that you'd see things you didn't want to in here.
You weren't lying. She turns away from you.
Come on, let's keep moving.
Nothing interesting in the bathroom.
This is the Initiate's dormitory. The new arrivals are brought here. There's still hope for these kids, VL. Harrow hasn't had a chance to ruin them yet.
Good to know. We'll try to get them out of here. Glory raises a hand, suddenly alert.
Wait, listen. Movement in the other room.
You strain your ears to listen. Soft voices from inside of the room come drifting out of a nearby vent. You hear a woman's voice. The sound is crisp and smooth and sweet, and it instantly puts you at ease.
Calm now, dear. It's probably nothing. No need to worry yourself. We're so far off the beaten track, we don't get a lot of visitors.
Out of the corner of your eye, you can see Glory's back stiffen. She flinches as though she's been stung. Another voice, high-pitched and pleading, an adolescent boy.
But what if it is someone? What if the bad people have found us? What if they followed me here and they've come to...
The female voice cuts in, soft and comforting.
Well, then we'll send them away. You're perfectly safe here. You have to believe that. Don't worry, dear heart. Harrow won't let anyone hurt you. Not here, in this place. Not ever again.
Found her.
You hear another boy's voice. This one is deeper. Are you certain, Marta?
Positive. Be calm, all of you. As long as you're here with us, nothing bad will ever happen to you.
Is that your Marta, Glory? She gives a curt nod.
Not mine. Harrow's. But she's the Marta from my story, yes.
What do you want to do? Glory pauses, grits her teeth. Finally, she spits out an answer.
If she's still here, she'll be Harrow's number one. My old position. He had his way with all of us, but he was always sweet on Marta. That means that she'll have a key to the shrine room.
In that case, we're going to have to find a way to get it away from her.
Yes, but not here, and not now. Those kids in there, they'd all die for her. They already love her. That's what she does. We can't risk confronting her in that room. If the situation turns ugly, any one of those kids will happily eat a bullet for her, and that's not what I came here to do.
No, it isn't. But we came here to kill Harrow, and she's in the way of us doing that.
Yes, she is. But we deal with her later. I won't hurt any more kids voluntarily. Marta's voice floats back out through the vent. Hush now, boys, and get some rest. You've got a big day tomorrow, the biggest day of your lives. You get to meet Harrow. I promise you, after you speak with him, you'll see the whole world in a different way. A better way. The adolescent voice trembles out a response. All right, Marta. Have a good night. A lovely musical laugh pours through the vent. You too, dear heart. All of you. You hear the distant sound of a door sliding shut. Glory takes a deep breath, then releases it. The coast is clear. We can handle the initiates. They're just a bunch of scared kids. Without Marta there to egg them on, they won't try anything. Step away first. There's bound to be another way through. A way around, perhaps. You hear voices speaking in low tones through the wood of the door. You can't make out the words, but regular choruses of rough laughter tell you that the people on the other side are enjoying themselves. Those voices belong to Harrow's acolytes. They'll have some magical training, and they like hurting people. You open that door, and we're going to have a fight on our hands. I don't want to announce our presence here unless I have to. Let's keep moving. That door. Okay. Van. Glory pauses at the side of the van. She traces the side of it with a claw. I remember cruising the back alleys of Tübingen looking for kids in need of help. The bait girls, Marta and the others like her, would offer them money or food or drugs or sex, whatever it took to get them into the van, and once they piled in, Harrow and I would be waiting to greet them. I remember so many nights like that. I remember how much I used to enjoy it. Coming back here shows integrity, Glory. Most runners that I know wouldn't have done what you're doing tonight. Left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't have. You pushed me to do this, to find some semblance of redemption. I owe you for that. You don't owe me anything. She shrugs. Tell yourself whatever you like. We both know the truth. Come on, let's keep moving. Nope, I am going to have to go through the initiates. This could go poorly. Listening at the vent, you hear only the sound of moving air. Open the door. Get on the floor. Everybody, walk the dinosaur. The initiate closest to the door whips his head up to look at you. He takes a stutter step backward in alarm, then opens his mouth to cry for help. You don't want to do that. Glory looks deep into the initiate's eyes, transfixing him. We're not here to hurt you. If we wanted to kill you, you'd already be dead. You've lived on the street. You know how this works.
Slowly, the initiate seems to calm down. Yeah, you're right. But if you don't want to hurt anyone, why are you here? We just want to have a word with Marta. A private word, between old friends. Understand? The initiate nods. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. The initiate by the door is staring at Glory's limbs, her eyes wide. She's a mousy little thing, probably somewhere in the vicinity of 17 years old, with purple contact lenses and a shock of blue hair. She glances up at Glory, blinking. You used to live here, didn't you? I've seen your picture before. Glory's expression remains neutral. Really? I think so. I didn't look at it long. It was in a room that I wasn't supposed to be in, but I'm pretty sure that it was you. It probably was. You're right. I did live here. A long time ago. I was like you back then. A scared kid, brought here by Marta for a chance at a new life. I like Marta. She's so nice. I always feel safe when I'm with her. Most adults aren't like that. They either don't notice you or they do for the wrong reasons. But Marta, she cares about us. There's a long pause, and then the initiate looks to you. Screwing up her courage, she speaks. Can I ask you a question? Go ahead, ask away. Well, I overheard Marta talking with Mr. Harrow yesterday. I think that they were talking about our meeting with him, the one that Marta was just telling us about, where we'll learn to see the world in a different way. Go on. Well, I couldn't really hear the whole conversation. It was all muffled, but what I could hear was kind of weird. Mr. Harrow said some stuff about a shrine, and then it sounded like he changed the subject because he started talking about dinner, something about chopping up meat. Well, Marta got real upset, said, they're too new, they're not ready, make the older ones do it, stuff like that. But then Mr. Harrow said some other things, and then she calmed down again. When she left, she was smiling. And so, I was just wondering, do you know what they were talking about? I want to make sure that Marta is okay, but I can't ask her about it because I don't want her to find out that I was eavesdropping. I think I know what Harrow has planned for you. Have you ever opened the fridge in the other room? No. Why? Is that where we're going to make dinner? Glory cuts in, her voice is gentle. I wouldn't worry about it. We'll make sure that Marta is okay. All right, but don't tell her that I told you, please? Don't worry, we won't. How long have you been here, by the way? Almost a week. She shuffles her feet. Eventually she looks up with a small smile. It's wonderful. Of course it is. So much nicer than living on the street, isn't it? Glory's face is kind, but her tone is one of incredible sorrow. You be good, sweetie. Don't you worry. We'll take care of Marta. The girl smiles sheepishly and steps back. As you pass by her on your way to the door, Glory shoots you a sidelong glance. It's like I thought. Things have changed in the past few years. How so? Back when I lived here, Harrow would never have let such a fresh convert prepare a sacrifice. He'd wait until she was in so deep, until she felt so indebted to him that she couldn't turn tail and run. It was a rule. You let newcomers get settled for a month, maybe 2, before teaching them the more unsavory aspects of cult life. Even then, you'd start them off slow. Their first lessons would use pork or chicken, never human meat. That didn't come until much later. Indoctrinating a new recruit after a week is risky as hell, and he never would have done it when I lived here. The shrine. He's using it to brainwash the initiates faster than he used to. She nods. That's what I'm thinking. Harrow's getting lazy, letting his captive spirit do the heavy lifting for him. So what does this mean for us?
I'm still working on that. But I don't think that the shrine is just a tool for Harrow anymore. I think that he relies on it. He's using it as a crutch. She cocks her head slightly as a thoughtful expression on her face. I think that he's letting himself become dependent on the damn thing. That girl is never going to have to do what we saw back in that kitchen. We won't let that happen. She nods, a fierce look in her eye. On that we are agreed. Marta is just on the other side of this door. However this goes, we're going to have to move quickly afterward. If she dies, Harrow will know it, and I don't trust her to keep her mouth shut if she lives. So we take the key to the shrine room, break through the ward, and confront the spirit. Are we clear on that? Crystal, let's do this. The woman in this room is lovely. Full lips contrast artfully with her fine elvish features, and a tumble of fine red hair spills down over her shoulders. Beyond her physical beauty, there's something inherently approachable about her. She exudes an almost palpable aura of kindness and warmth. Marta, Glory's old lover, the lure that Harrow used to draw her and so many others to Feuerstella. She looks up with a start at the sound of your approach. Her eyes go wide at the sight of Glory. As she takes in her cyberware, her mouth falls open in horror. Glory? Yes, Marta, it's me. Glory's voice is cold. It's been a long time. It has. Marta swallows. The horrified look hasn't left her face. Glory, what have you done to yourself? What I had to do. I got out, Marta. This was the only way. Oh, Glory. All at once the horror on Marta's face is replaced with an expression of profound sorrow. I am so sorry. Marta steps forward, her arms extended to wrap Glory in a hug. All at once, something in Glory's face changes. Her skin goes from pale to pallid, and her breath becomes ragged. She takes a step back and raises her claws into a defensive posture. Her voice frosts over with cold rage. Don't you touch me. You're one of Harrow's creatures. You always were. Marta stops short. One of his creatures? Glory, what are you talking about? Keep your cool, Glory. This isn't like you. Look at me, VL. Take a good long look. I was forced to sacrifice my own body in order to escape from this place. To hack away what made me human, and she's the one who brought me here. Say nothing. That was your choice, Glory, not mine. I would never have wanted this for you. If you were unhappy, you should have talked to me about it. We'd have found a way to make things right. Nothing could have made this right. Nothing. If you'd left me where you found me, I never would have hurt anybody. My mother would still be alive. I never would have sold my soul to that abomination that you all worship, and I wouldn't have had to sacrifice my own body to escape from it. This place took everything from me, and it all started with you. She looks genuinely hurt. Harrow and I rescued you from life on the street. A beautiful girl, homeless, penniless, living in a gutter. I pulled you away from all that. I saved you. There was a long pause. Glory stares into Marta's eyes, her expression unreadable. I don't feel much anymore, Marta. Most of the time, I'm completely numb. But for you, I can make an exception. I hate you. I'm sorry you feel that way, Glory. For my part, I still love you.
The razors flick out of Glory's fingertips. Her lip curls into a snarl.
Another lie. The last one you'll ever tell.
I don't think that she's lying. Or at least, she doesn't think so. She believes what she's saying.
That's because it's true. I'll prove it to you.
The words come stammering out of her. Her eyes are fixed on Glory's razors.
Ask me anything you want. I'll show you that I'm telling the truth. I never wanted anything bad to happen to you, Glory. Not ever.
She wheels to face you.
Why are you listening to her? She's just telling you what you want to hear. That's her whole purpose here, remember? She's bait. Why should we listen to anything that she has to say?
The cultists aren't responsible for their actions, remember? That's as true for Marta as it is for everyone else.
She was here long before I was. Before Harrow started using the shrine. She made her own decisions, just like I did. No excuses. She's here because she wants to be. She brought me here because she wanted to. Her choice.
Thank you, Steve. That might have been true then, but she's been living under the Shrine's influence for a long time now. She's no more in control of herself than anyone else here is.
Maybe she's being compelled to lie to us. I'll accept that. It doesn't mean that we should trust her.
She fidgets in agitation.
We're wasting time, and we need that key. If Harrow gets back here before we dealt with that shrine, we're effed.
I've spent enough time on the street to learn how to read a person, and I'm telling you, Marta loves those kids.
Bullshit. You're falling into the same trap that I did.
Marta holds her silence. She looks at you with wet, lustrous eyes. I don't think that she wants to hurt anybody, Glory. Some part of her doesn't understand what this place really is. Glory stares at you for a moment, naked hostility on her face. Then the razors slide back into their housings with a click.
All right, Marta. Convince me.
Convince you of what? That I'm not a monster?
I don't know how to do that, Glory. You can start by telling me how you sleep at night. You know what happens to the kids that you bring here. You know what happens to me. But you're still luring them here into Harrow's clutches all these years later. So tell me, how do you live with yourself? Explain it to me.
For a moment, you can see the conflict behind Marta's eyes. If cognitive dissonance had a face, it would be hers. Confused, frightened, angry. At war with herself. For a moment, she struggles to speak. Then, the whispering sensation that you felt outside of the compound comes back, and her face changes. The muscles of her brow relax, and she appears to be at peace.
Why are you asking me this, Glory? You already know the answers. The kids here, they aren't being hurt. They're walking the path to a free and pure life, just like Harrow taught us.
The shrine is whispering to her, Glory. I can feel it too. She's blissed out on it, like you said. Marta continues, her joyful smile widening. Her voice is placid.
Harrow is a great man, a prophet. True, sacrifices have to be made, but what he brings in return, it's so much love, Glory. You remember?
Glory grits her teeth, but gives you a small nod.
Yeah, you're right. After so many years living here, I don't know if she even knows what normal feels like anymore.
She steps forward and grabs Marta by the shoulders. It's a curiously soft gesture.
Marta, If what you're saying is true, if you ever really did care for me, then please give me your key. It's important.
She blinks. Key?
Whatever you use to get past the wards outside of Harrow's shrine. I need it. Don't ask why, just do this for me. You owe me that much.
She looks momentarily conflicted, then the moment passes.
No. Harrow said that I had to guard this. He told me that I could never take it off. I can't question one of Harrow's orders. It would be wrong.
You questioned him about what he's planning on doing with those initiates back there. Was that wrong?
That's different.
She blinks. Then that whispering sound returns, soft and insistent, and the flicker of unease on her face is replaced with an easy smile.
You wouldn't understand.
Then maybe you could explain it to me. Maybe if you could answer my questions, I'd be able to see the light. She nods eagerly.
Yes, yes. Please go on and ask your questions. I'll explain everything, and you'll see for yourself how perfect and right our way really is, how beautiful it can be.
And if you'll excuse me, I need to go record my life again. My apologies.
Okay.
I am back. Now. I've read Harrow's manifesto. It looks like he spends a long time talking about charity. She nods eagerly.
Yes, of course. Charity. The kind that I practice when I rescue young people from the streets.
But then in his rules of living, he says that all free thinkers are supposed to be selfish.
Well, yes, but...
And after that, he says that that only the strong deserve to prosper. So, which is it? Marta blinks. She looks momentarily confused, and then you see the conviction clamp back down behind her eyes.
You just don't understand the beauty of his message, the truth behind it.
Harrow is hurting the runaways that you bring here. You can see that, can't you? Her smile shifts to an expression of mock concern. Hurting? How so? He's going to make the initiates, the young initiates, like the girl in the next room, do something horrible. Her smile slowly fades.
That girl, such a sweet young thing. I rescued her from a bad place, Glory. Her and the boys in that dorm as well. But they're all safe now, and isn't that what's important?
Are they? You know what I'm talking about, Marta. The harvesting. The meat. The confusion washes over her face again. She begins blinking agitatedly and fidgeting. Then that unseen force clamps down again, and she seems to calm.
It's regrettable, but it happens for a good reason. The sacrifices keep us safe here, and safety is something that a lot of these kids have never known. The initiates have to learn how things are done here. Harrow told us so. That's what it all boils down to, doesn't it? It has to be this way because he says it does. He's a great man. He would never hurt us, whatever you say. You're taking everything out of context. You don't understand.
He's corrupting you all. How many of them has he taken as his wives, yourself included? She rolls her eyes at you. A lesson in Puritan values from a Shadowrunner. How quaint. This isn't about you. I don't care what you do, Marta. I'm talking about child abuse.
Harrow doesn't take the young ones for wives. I don't know what Glory's told you, but he isn't a monster. And even the youngest initiates here aren't children. Not really. Life on the street took that from them a long time ago. Feuerstella lets them be themselves, but in a safe place. Certainly safer than the back alleys of some urban hellhole like the one that you live in. I was young when he chose me, Marta. Maybe not innocent, but young. Somewhere deep down you know that this is wrong. When you lived with us, you didn't think it was wrong. You loved it here. You can rewrite history to cast yourself as the victim if you want to. If demonizing me helps, you can do that too. But nobody ever forced you to do anything, Glory.
Glory falls silent. The color drains from her face.
This is clearly a difficult subject. I don't know what you were hoping to achieve by bringing it up, but I promise you, you aren't going to convince me to abandon my way of life. Our ways here are our own. You can't change that. All that you can do is accept it and move on.
I can see that Harrow has you brainwashed into thinking that this is okay, but Marta, it isn't.
You just don't know when to give up, do you? Our ways aren't yours, but that doesn't give you the right to judge us. Who are you to impose your ideology on this commune?
outsider, someone who hasn't been corrupted by Harrow or his pet spirit. I'd say that qualifies me to offer an opinion. I'll tell you what you are. You're the kind of person that Harrow has always warned us about. Your sense of moral outrage doesn't trump our right to live the way that we choose. She takes a deep breath, struggles to calm herself. If you have more accusations to hurl at my husband, go ahead and do it. I'll tell you how wrong you are. I'd prefer to keep this conversation civil, but that's up to you. Harrow is evil, you get that right. I mean, he worships the devil. What else do you need? The smile dies on Marta's face. I don't know what Glory told you, but the adversary isn't the devil. Calling him that, reducing him to a cartoonish embodiment of evil, is an insult. The adversary that I revere is the personification of rebellion, conflict and change, of anarchy. The fact that you live in Berlin but hold the adversary in contempt proves one of two things. Either you're ignorant, or you're a hypocrite. From what I've seen here tonight, Glory was right on the mark when she said that the adversary was evil. If anyone here is ignorant, it's you. Her lip curls into a sneer. Harrow warned us about this kind of backward thinking, but I wasn't expecting to hear it from you. I'd always assumed that you Shadowrunners were savvy enough to know that good and evil don't exist. 9 times out of 10 I'd agree with you, but Marta, the adversary is a special case. Somewhere deep down, you must know that. Marta sighs, and her voice takes on a condescending tone. I don't have to believe anything that you tell me. You don't get to dictate my spiritual beliefs. The fact that you're even trying is sad, Glory. I expected more from you. I'm done with this. If you want to go on slandering the idol that I serve, do it somewhere else. As for you, you can either change the subject, or you can get ready for a fight. I won't hear any more of your blasphemy. Give us the amulet, Marta. It's the right thing to do. Oh, yes, she nods eagerly. I'll give it to you. She fishes the amulet out of her blouse. It dangles on a golden chain glinting in the firelight. Here, it's all yours. Put it on the floor and step back. I don't trust you. All right, fine. If that's how you want this to go, then so be it. She swings the amulet on its chain. If you want this, you're going to have to kill me for it. Glory shifts into an attack posture. When she speaks, her voice is unsteady. I'm sorry that it came to this, Marta, but you're too far gone to save. If what you want is a fight, we'll give you one. I didn't want this, Glory. I wish that we could have come out of this friends. But you haven't convinced me of anything, and I made a promise to protect this with my life. Best of luck with that. I won't need luck, outsider. Harrow, my husband, taught me how. She stares at Glory, and her eyes are sad. She raises her hands, and they begin to glow. See for yourself.
There's a way for that to turn out better than that.
I don't know.
Different main character build.
Yeah. Glory stands staring at the red ruin of Marta's body. Her eyes flit down to her claws, and an expression of growing horror creeps across her face. You okay, Glory? It takes her a long time to respond. Her voice is choked with long-dormant emotion. No, I'm not. Hold on. I'm going to look something up. See if it is possible for that to go better.
Yeah, like, is there a piece of evidence or anything you got here, or is it some player character skill that you didn't take as necessary?
Typically when there's a skill involved, it's the choice appears but is grayed out. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I definitely... I made a lot of the right choices. Yes, I know. She was just as bad as Harrow. Killing her was the right thing to do. To your astonishment, you see that her eyes are welling with tears. But it also seems, from the options, that there wasn't a lot else that could be done about her. Glory. All at once, the blood drains from her cheeks. She wipes the water from her eyes with a cold metal hand. Save the consolation speech. I'm over it. Her voice is frigid. Dead. She nods in the direction of the shrine room door. We got what we came here for. Let's go finish this. You monster! You killed Marta! It couldn't be helped. Harrow's going to get you. You'll see. As you step forward, the scintillating red light that streams from the doorway flickers and dies. There is a strange lurching sensation in your gut, but it clears almost instantly. The door swings open with a touch. It seems to have done it. Glory nods, then reaches into her satchel. Her hand comes back out, clutching a small jar. I'm going to put a smear of this on your forehead. It's a sort of alchemical balm. Her voice goes quiet. Harrow taught me how to make it. She unscrews the cap from the jar, revealing a pale white ointment. The surface glitters strangely in the dim light. If you ever wondered where my share of the take from our jobs has gone, this is the answer. Powdered orichalcum isn't cheap. I'm sure that it isn't. Where did you even find a supplier? The talismonger Algernon hooked me up with a contact of his in the Trollkönigreich Schwarzwald. His prices are high, but considering the rarity of the material, they're fair. Thankfully, I don't need that much of it to make the balm. She dips a metallic fingertip into the jar and begins to stir. The boundaries between the material world and the astral plane are weak here. This stuff acts sort of like a lens. It focuses your perceptions, makes the haze real. She applies a smear of ointment to her forehead. It looks like a glob of glittering white paint. With this, we can deal with the spirit on its own level. Sounds like a plan to me. She dips her finger back into the balm and traces it down your forehead. The ointment feels cool and oily on your skin. That's good, because we don't have another one. She fishes in her bag a second time and pulls out a pair of silver necklaces. A rune-inscribed pendant dangles from each. This will protect your astral self from spiritual possession. Don't take it off while we're dealing with the shrine, whatever you do. Got it. Glory puts on her own pendant. The necklace glitters slightly against her pale skin. I don't know what's going to happen when we step into that room, VL. We're playing with forces outside of our control. Are you ready to do this? Ready as I'll ever be. There was a long pause before she speaks again. When she does, her voice sounds strained. At the very beginning of this thing, we both agreed that Harrow needs to die. I still want that. I want to bury my claws in his belly and pull his entrails out for what he did to me and to all of the other kids like me. But from what we've seen here tonight, I suspect that Harrow isn't the real power here anymore. Explain. I think that when Harrow started using his shrine, he handed the spirit trapped inside of it the keys to the kingdom. The bastard might think that he's in charge here, but he isn't. Not anymore. He's a servant, just like everybody else. The only difference is that he doesn't know it. Interesting. What this means for us is that we shouldn't have to kill Harrow to put an end to all of this. I don't think that he'll be much of a threat on his own. Not anymore. If we can manage to purify the spirit rather than killing it, it'll withdraw from the cultists' minds willingly. We can save them. I
think that if we purify the spirit, Feuerstella will die. We'll save all of the kids, and the nightmare will end.
If you feel that strongly about it, we can shift our focus to rescuing the kids instead. This is your run, Glory. I'm just here to help.
She breathes a sigh of relief. Thank you, VL. I'd hate to do the wrong thing here. Let's put an end to all of this. We heal the spirit, and then the cultists. We send Harrow running and shut this place down.
That's the plan. Let's do it. Anything interesting around the room? Doesn't look like it. As you approach the shrine, a chorus of high, sibilant voices fills the air. The sound is light and airy, but something about it fills you with a bone-deep dread.
Welcome home, Glory.
Glory's eyes go wide. She opens her mouth to speak, but no sound escapes her. Glory, what? Something slams into you, a wave of intangible force that turns your consciousness inside out and sends shockwaves reverberating through your mind. The world lurches, and everything goes black. Slowly, you begin to stir. Murky, flickering impressions invade the oily stillness of your unconscious mind. The sensations come in waves, washing up over you and jerking you back toward consciousness. You smell acrid smoke and burning meat. The roar of distant flames whispers in your ears. When your eyes flutter open, a dull red glare fills your vision. As you attempt to struggle to your feet, you become dimly aware that the gravity here feels wrong. Everything is heavier than it should be. Slowly, the waves grow still, and your senses calm. You find yourself staring into an infinite horizon. The blasted ruins of Feuerstella stretch out in all directions, as far as the eye can see. Is this astral space?
No.
Warily, she surveys your surroundings.
We're someplace else.
You're going to have to be more specific.
I don't have answers for you, but there's one thing that I am sure of. Whatever this place is, the adversary holds sway here.
If this is the adversary's domain, wouldn't that make this hell?
No, she shakes her head. I don't think it's as simple as that.
But the spirit that we're hunting is going to be here, right?
Yes, it should be here, somewhere.
Time to explore a creepy burned out hell dimension.
Oh boy. Hell dimensions are my favorite. Oh no, demons. Ow!
You know, this looks functionally identical to the grid.
Miss. Here we go. That wasn't too bad. Nice. Oh, jeez. Whoa, you're big. Mimi, big boy. The thing hovering before you is hideous. Its broad chest is jacketed in scale-like patches of burning coal, and its many sets of antlers shimmer with heat. It smells like a barn fire, wood smoke, burning fur, and blackening bodies. The spirit inclines its head toward Glory and spreads its arms in welcome. Glory, welcome, child. It speaks in a chorus of clear, lilting voices. Oh, that... I can't really do that. You don't hear them so much as feel them. The sensation is strange, like hundreds of butterflies fluttering in your chest. I wish I had some sort of, like, voice effects thing in front of me, and that I knew how to use so that I could make that happen. What a pleasure it is to see you again. Glory steps forward, trepidation on her face. Standing before the towering form of the spirit, she looks frail and small. She takes a deep breath, steels herself, and speaks. I know what you were, spirit, before the adversary twisted you, before Harrow bound you into this rock. She drops a hand to the satchel at her side. I can help you be that again. All that you need to do is let me. The spirit chuckles, a strange warbling sound that sends a shiver down your spine. We are not in need of help. We are our great master's servant, just as Harrow is, just as you are, despite your misguided attempt to cut away his love from your heart. The voices in your head soften, become sad, but the fluttering in your chest turns ugly like the buzzing wings of a swarm of blowflies. You have mangled yourself beyond repair, and you did it to spite him. He who was your greatest benefactor. You betrayed him, child, but he loves you all the same. Cut the shit, spirit. We all know what your master's love does to people. Slowly, terribly, the spirit begins to turn. You can hear the crack and pop of splintering vertebrae as its enormous head shifts on its shoulders. It fixes its cavernous gaze on you. Your friend, this outsider, slanders our great master, but we take no offense. His words are like the babble of a newborn babe. He is ignorant of the truth. The spirit inclines its head toward you. If the noise continues, we will teach him, and the babble will cease. Glory shoots you a sidelong glance. She mouths out a word. Don't. I have a message for you from our great master. He has a gift for you, a peace offering, one that he offers freely, a sign of his continued affection for you. He knows that you desire his servant's destruction. A symbol of his love, as a symbol of his love, he will grant you the power to bring an end to Harrow. He knows that you wish to free the children of Feuerstella. As a sign of his compassion, he will help you set them free. You can have everything that you want, child. All of this and more. I should probably not say anything. That's a knight's pitch, spirit, but you neglected to mention the price. The spirit leans toward her, clasping its hands. This will cost you nothing. A simple gesture, a trifle, a show of good faith. If you demonstrate your love for him, he will reward you beyond your wildest dreams. Remove the protective ward from your neck, and his gift is yours for the taking. Yours forevermore. Say nothing. Glory cranes her neck to look up at the reeking, cadaverous thing that looms over her.
I had my own limbs hacked off to get away from the adversary. I paid somebody to do it. That's how badly I wanted to be free of your great master. Your offer is as pathetic as it was predictable. To be frank, I'm disappointed in you.
The barn fire stench of the spirit thickens, and its antlers glow white. The heat radiating from the thing is like an oven, a kiln, a blast furnace. If you rebuke our great master a second time, I will chew what's left of you into mulch. The marrow from your bones will nourish the garden. I promise you this, child. I promise it.
I have a better idea.
She dips a hand into her satchel and produces a ceremonial dagger. The blade shimmers eerily in the light.
We're going to purify you, spirit. And after we've finished, you'll help us rescue those kids.
The spirit cackles.
Very well, child. If pain is what you seek, we will bring it to you.
Beneath its leathery skin, the thing's bones begin to shift, straining against the ligaments and tendons that bind them. A hideous cracking sound fills the air as its skeleton splinters and pops. As you watch, the spirit's body begins to rupture. Great lesions open up in the creature's chest and back, and its ribcage cracks from some horrible internal pressure. The spirit's chest heaves, and a foul liquid pours from the rips in its flesh. A flash of light stabs your eyes, and when your vision clears, you find 3 identical spirits floating before you.
Death comes in many forms, child.
The fluttering sensation in your chest grows into a rasping pain that steals the breath from your lungs. It feels like you're being eaten alive.
Yours will be swift and brutal.
No, wait. Oh, there they are. I was like, it said there were 3, but I only see the one. Oh, there's only one right in front of me. The other 2 are a short distance away. That explains it. That was a chunk of damage that I dealt just then. Figure materializes out of shadow. The form is wispy and insubstantial, a projection of a man distorted by distance. His silhouette ripples like a flag in the wind. Through the haze you can see his face. He is more beautiful than handsome, with sculpted features and an unnaturally youthful complexion. His expression is sad.
Harrow.
Glory. The voice is deep, but faint, and marred by echoes. It sounds as if he's shouting from the far end of a long tunnel. You shouldn't have come here. I was content to let you live out your life in peace.
I've come to put an end to this place, Harrow. This place and your pathetic, sickening cult.
I don't want to kill you, Glory, and I won't unless you force my hand. The flickering silhouette spreads its arms wide. Ask me for my protection, and I will usher you out of this place. You can leave Feuerstella in peace. If you ask me politely, I might even let your friend leave with you.
I won't abandon your victims here, Harrow. Not again. I'm going to burn this place to the ground. My only regret is that you aren't here in person to burn with it.
The projection of Harrow sighs.
A fight, then.
Very well. The air around him begins to pulse with scintillating bursts of color. His rippling, transparent form glows with heat from within. You brought this upon yourself. Man, these spirits are not hurting me.
I wonder if you're a little over leveled for this.
I mean, I shouldn't be. Part of it,
I tore Margaret apart in what sounded like one turn.
Say what?
Three, 2 turns.
What?
The Marta fight didn't last long.
Oh. Yeah, it didn't. That's because Glory is strong and I put haste on her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, hasting the ninja is a good way to make things die swiftly.
Mm-hmm. What? Did I just, like, successfully dispel Harrow?
Like, entirely, or just his buffs?
Like, entirely. I don't see him anymore.
Huh. Maybe you, like, kicked his projection out of
Yeah,
burning
that's
hole.
that's what I'm thinking.
Kind of like kicking the Emperor out of mission.
Yeah. Maybe just my magical nature gives me, or makes me very, resistant to these guys.
More physically wearing character wouldn't be doing so well.
Whoa! My basic attack spell just dealt 20 damage. Yeah, I think I am, well equipped to handle this combat here. Oops. Weakened, the spirit's form flickers and sparks. The burning coals that cling to its body fall off in clumps, and its searing antlers begin to cool. The chorus of lilting voices warbles and shrieks as its body transmogrifies into something else. Through the haze, you can see Harrow's eyes go wide. At once, his rippling silhouette begins to fade back into the shadows whence it came. His body becomes insubstantial. Go ahead and run, you effing coward. Run back to the real world and whatever hole you crawled out of. We'll catch you. Shadows in the shape of a man smile back at you. The distance in his voice is increased. It sounds like he's shouting from miles away. I don't think so. You don't even know where the real me is, Glory. Oh, don't worry. We'll find you. We're good at that sort of thing. The projection flashes you a condescending grin. Believe what you like, fool. It won't do you any good. Years from now, I'll still be doing what I do, and you will have accomplished nothing.
Go ahead, Harrow. Try to set up another cult. You won't get far before I hunt you down.
The projection chuckles. The sound is thin and hollow. You know better than that, but nothing makes me happier than the sound of you lying to yourself. Goodbye, Glory. The shadow slowly dissipates, and Harrow is gone. Run, coward. Run far, far away. We'll find you.
Nice Sinistar energy there, Glory. Beware, she lives.
Glory continues staring for a long moment at the spot where the projection of Harrow vanished. Her expression is unreadable. Slowly, she turns away. The spirit's writhing form continues its transformation. Twisted claws buckle, break, and reform. Charred bone begins to heal. The barn fire stench of it slowly dies away, replaced by an array of more pleasant smells. Oak and pine and mineral oil, rustic feasts and mulled wine. As it cools, the spirit raises its head. Its body is as shaky as a newborn foal's. What has happened to us? What have we done? Say nothing.
What have you done? Terrible things, spirit. Loathsome, unforgivable things. You have corrupted children, turned them into killers. You've been a party to violence, torture, and the desecration of corpses. You've created monsters.
The spirit cringes, shaking its great head from side to side. It doesn't speak, but a low rumbling sound emanates from somewhere deep in its chest.
Unpleasant to think about, isn't it? But you have to, spirit. You can't run from what you've done. Your actions are a part of you, whether you like it or not.
The rumbling sound turns into a tormented howl. The noise conjures images of mourning mothers and caged animals, screeching orphans and dying men. It is a sound of pure, unmitigated despair. Glory takes a step toward the giant creature.
Listen to me, spirit. I need your help. We're here to rescue the cultists of Feuerstella, the street kids whose minds you touched. We are getting them out of here before the adversary can do to them what it did to you.
The spirit stares at Glory for a long moment. Finally, it dips its head in a nod. Yes, we will help you. Good. Now get out of those kids' minds.
We have already done so. The cultists of Feuerstella are themselves again.
The spirit bows its head. We wish to do more. We have much to atone for, as you said. Go ahead. We won't stop you.
No, but the stone will. We are still bound to this shrine, anchored here. We can do nothing without your help. Tell us what you need us to do.
We need an appropriate vessel to carry us out of the rock. Something touched by magic, but more dead than alive. It dips its head. Do you have anything that can help us? Herself. Gingerly, she reaches up and wraps a hand around the protective ward that hangs around her neck.
Yes, I think that I do.
With a single motion, she snaps the chain. The pendant falls to the floor. The heart of Feuerstella lowers its eyeless head, then traces an elaborate gesture into the air. A warm glow envelops it, and a similar glow spills from Glory. There is a bright flash, and the spirit is gone. Glory, are you okay? Slowly she rises. She looks you in the eye, a quizzical expression on her face.
I can feel it. The spirit. It's bound to me now.
So, what does that mean for us? Can the spirit help us, like it said?
See for yourself. She raises an arm and you feel a burst of warmth and comfort in your chest. It wants to help people, to heal them. It wants redemption just like I do. Together, maybe we'll find it.
Behind your eyes, your vision starts to twist. It feels as though you're being turned inside out.
Time to go. With the spirit's link to the adversary severed, this entire reality is falling apart.
See you in the real world, Glory.
Yeah,
She offers you a grateful smile.
I'll see you there.
Ah, so she gets Kikar's healing powers. Several upgrade.
Slowly, you swim back to consciousness. Struggling to your feet, you find Glory already standing and alert.
I can feel them. The spirit set them free, but they're trapped somewhere here in the complex.
The initiates, you mean?
Yes, and others.
She surveys the room, a worried expression on her face.
We need to find them and get out of here. The connection between this compound and wherever we were is breaking down. As that place disintegrates, more and more things are spilling through.
Say no more. We're getting out of here.
Not without the cultists. But yes. She strides toward the door. Let's get moving.
Oh dear, the children are physically trapped in the place? That's not great.
It's possible that some spirits have appeared.
Oh, very good.
Oops. As you kick the door open and stumble forward into the room, you find yourself surrounded by a sea of teenage faces. Initiates and acolytes huddled together and trembling. With the spirit's influence cleared from their minds, their swagger is gone. They look frightened and lost, like kids who've had their security blankets torn away.
Glory? Is that you?
The acolyte is in his early 20s, close to Glory's age. His eyes are wide with astonishment.
You don't know me, but I was a new initiate back when you lived here. When you were...
She cuts in, but her voice is gentle.
Yes, it's me. Come on, we're taking you to safety. Someplace far away from here.
A scrawny teenager in a ratty coat stares at Glory's chrome, his mouth hanging slack. His voice cracks when he speaks. What happened to you? Your arms?
Something that you'll never need to worry about. Come on, let's get the hell out of here.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Come on, people, we're taking you someplace safe. You thread your way through the trees of the Schonbook forest, tracing your way back to the thicket where you and Glory hid the van. The inferno that consumed Feuerstella is spreading, and the conflagration casts the forest around you in a sinister orange light. The heat at your back is intense, unbearable. Far ahead, Glory blazes a trail for you to follow, shredding the foliage in her path. The liberated initiates teeter on the edge of panic as they struggle to keep pace behind you. The fire is moving fast, but you're faster. As Glory helps the last of the kids into the van, you put the vehicle in gear and punch the accelerator. The burning ruin of Feuerstella recedes into the distance, a glowing speck in the rearview mirror. The peace and safety of the Kreuzbazaar lie ahead. Glory stands, an introspective look on her face. At the sound of your approach, she turns to face you. She nods at you.
Thank you for your help at Foyer, Stella. I couldn't have done it without you.
Been meaning to talk with you about that.
After the things that we saw in there, I'm not surprised. Go ahead, VL. I'm listening.
Harrow got away, just like you said he would. She frowns.
Yes, and he's already putting distance between himself and the Schonbook Forest.
How do you want to go about tracking him?
Finding Harrow is going to be a full-time job. I can't track him down while we still have a great dragon hanging over our heads. After we've dealt with Vauclair and the Fire Wing, I'll devote myself wholeheartedly to finding that bastard and finishing this. But for now, we need to keep our eyes on the road ahead.
What did you wind up doing with all the cultists that we rescued? Did you send them to Samuel?
No. He has enough to worry about keeping the people of the Kreutz Bazaar safe. Those kids that we rescued, they've been damaged by Harrow's philosophies. They can get better, but it's going to take time. Trying to integrate them into our society too quickly would be dangerous.
So where did they go?
I took them to the talismonger Algernon. He said that he knew a place where they could get help. It won't be easy for them, or quick, but they'll get better in time.
You looked distraught when Marta died. How are you holding up?
Her expression clouds. As well as can be expected. My feelings on this are complicated.
You loved her, that much is pretty clear.
Yes, a part of me still loved her, and the rest hated her for what she represented. Am I ultimately sorry that she's dead? Yes, but I'm not sure what the alternative would be.
Say nothing.
Marta was a new definition of the term damaged goods. I can't even imagine the amount of psychological trauma she'd be carrying if she were alive today. It'd take her years to recover, and in that time, she'd still be dangerous. All in all, it's probably better that things turned out the way they did. That's what I keep telling myself anyway.
Thanks for taking the time to talk.
Anytime, VL. And thanks again. I mean that.
Yell, what can I do for you? We should talk about what happened with the engineer. Agreed. I'm ready to go over it if you are. So, the engineer was working for a secret society. I wasn't expecting that. Neither was I. She frowns. Part of me is still having trouble believing it, but it's true. Yuli wasn't lying. I could see it in his eyes. Have you been able to do any digging on Winter Night? No, there just isn't much reliable information out there. Whoever these guys are, they're very good at information control. None of my contacts could find anything but rumor and conjecture, and most of that is too crazy to even consider. How crazy are we talking here? Completely insane. Stories about magical nukes and the end of the world, Fenris shamans, Ragnarok, that kind of thing. She shakes her head. Like I said, nuts. Maybe they're running a disinformation campaign, planting strange rumors to create plausible deniability. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Corporations and governments do it all the time, why not these guys? Anyway, we stopped them cold in Schottenest. Whatever their business is, whatever was going to be in those crates that the engineer was having shipped there, it isn't our problem anymore. The Kreutz Bazaar is safe. On that front, at least. Yeah, it is. And we've got you to thank for that. And you. Don't downplay what you did back there. Anyway, we shouldn't let it go to our heads. We still have a dragon to worry about. When I left that room to search for clues, the engineer told you something.
something that pushed you over the edge. Her eyes narrow. That son of a bitch said a lot of things. What of it?
What do you think? I want to know what he told you.
With all due respect, that's none of your business, VL.
Isn't it? You beat the tar out of that man because of what he told you. As your team leader, I need to know why that happened.
It takes her a long time to respond. When she does, her voice carries a tone of resignation. You really want to know? All right, fine. I'll tell you. He told me about a bunch of Polish towns that my unit swept for syndicate activity. He told me how the mob poured back in right after we left, and what they did to the people who'd accepted our help. He told me about the beatings, the rapes, the killing rooms, and the torture, and worse. He relished in describing it, the relentless, hideous barbarism of it all meant to teach some sort of lesson. I think that's the cruelest part of this entire story. Those people, they didn't need a lesson in how terrible life can be. They live with that every day. Yuli seemed to find all of this hilarious. Yeah, I know that he was pushing my buttons on purpose. And yeah, I know that he was trying to make me lose control. But the hell with it, he deserved a good beating. Yuli didn't pull any punches, so I didn't pull any punches. And if you have a problem with that, you can go and get effed.
Cool down, Iger. We're both on the same side here.
I know, sorry. I guess I'm still a little on edge about this. Which is exactly what Yuli wanted, of course. I just can't help thinking, what if he wasn't playing me? What if those things did happen? If I leave things where they stand, there'll always be some hope that he was lying. But if I dig into this and find that he was telling the truth, if I find out that none of what we did meant anything...
Even if he was telling the truth, that doesn't invalidate what your unit was doing over there.
Doesn't it? Our actions might have drawn attention to those people, made them targets. You and your team were doing good over there. Whatever the Mafia did afterward is on them, not you. She gives you a brusque nod. You're right. It isn't. No more moping about, I promise. And I will look into this, VL. Wherever this trail leads me, I'll follow it. And I won't stop until I find the truth.
I'm willing to help you see this through if you want the help.
She shakes her head. Thanks, but no. Not now, at least. At some point, after we're done with what we're doing, I'll look into this. I'll get to the truth, whatever it might be. But I'm not going to do it today.
When you are ready to start looking, you can call on me for help. I've got your back, Iger.
She nods. I know it. And I'm glad. Now, let's change tack. Is there anything else from the run that you'd like to go over? She folds her arms across her chest. If you have any thoughts, I want to hear them. Have you had a chance to play with that rifle that we got from the engineer's stash? Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of engineering. Shoots straight, has good stopping power, holds a big magazine. She nods appreciatively. A really nice gun. You mentioned a bunch of aftermarket mods when we found it. Have you figured out what they do yet? Just one. I can tag a chambered round with an RF transmitter. After the round hits a target, the transmitter pings on a designated channel, broadcasting the target's exact location to anyone listening in. In layman's terms, you can use this thing to mark a target. There's cyberware that does the same thing, and Deckers do it all the time, but this is the first time I've seen this kind of functionality on a rifle. Not bad. Not bad at all. Agreed. I've been reluctant to cart an AR along with me up until now. In my opinion, the added mid-range stopping power didn't justify the trouble of carrying another big, bulky weapon into the field. Being a walking arsenal is fine and good, but it's also noisy and cumbersome, and those are two things that every sniper tries to avoid. She pats the engineer's rifle. This thing, though, this adds enough utility that I think it's worth the extra weight. I'll find a way to make it work.
That's all, Liger. Thanks for the talk.
Thank you, fearless leader, both for the chat and for the assist on the run.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Oh, my neck.
Hello! Haven't seen you around in a while. When I saw you the other day, I was going to ask, because your name on there sounds familiar. Is that Ben? Or are you just someone else who also happens to know Chris? Cool. Well, awesome. I'm grateful to Chris for raiding me whenever he did that. I know he's done it at least a couple times. But sadly, you tuned in just as I was about to sign off. Sorry. It's after 5:30, and I try and keep the stream to less than 4 hours. It's at about 3.5 right now. But thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be going back to Deadlight. That's the name of it. A little bit of spooky October programming that's still unfinished. And I'll be back with more of this Friday afternoon. Saving game, making sure everything is in order. Save and quit. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later, everybody.